Welcome to Startalk with your hosts, Colin and Marty.
Hey, welcome to Startalk Live. It sounds like we had an echo there. Maybe it's this new toy that I've been playing with. No, actually, it wasn't me. I think there was just two intros being played at the same time. But we're here. You're here, Martino. Good to see you.
Yeah, always a pleasure. How are you?
Nice to see you so clean shaven like that. It's
Younger man, new image.
Oh, much younger, new image. You must be feeling good about yourself.
Oh, really good. Yeah. Prime of my life. Lots going on, lots of positive stuff, movie stuff, documentary stuff, show stuff, everything that I'm into. A little bit of touring going to start up. And then, of course, some dates.
Speaking of touring, I was doing a couple of shows this weekend. Yeah. It's nice to get back in front of a live audience and sing some songs. And
hone your skills, my friend.
That's and meet some people I haven't seen for a long time. It was really good.
And
we have the opportunity now to kind of get past where we were a couple of years ago. And
right on.
It feels good, and people are starting to unwind a little bit and enjoying live music once again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I see a couple of things. Speaking of live music, my friend, Steven Tyler, they've canceled all their June and July dates at the Las Vegas Park MGM for their shows there because Steven has voluntarily checked in to an addiction facility to recover.
Oh, not again.
On his own thing, and he's 74 years old, and he quotes he's focusing on his well-being now. The other band members pretty well released the same thing, but they say they'll be back in September. So let's hope that Steven.
I hear Brian Adams has announced some dates.
Yeah, Adams has announced some dates, which is good, like you say, to see he's back in rocking again. And then our old friend Burton, he's got a maritime stint in July, and then he's supposed to come back with our other old friend Randy Bachman with the Bachman Cummings dates. And then I also got a tip for you and I from our inside source there to expect Burton at the P&E in September.
Oh, he likes doing that. We went to, you and I went to that show.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to go again.
Was that a couple of years?
Oh, that's been 3+.
Doesn't seem like.
Oh, yeah, because COVID was 2.5, like fall of 19 and 2021. We're 22 now. I was talking to the producer today of our show, and we've done 23 in the first year, and now in here 20.
And now
so 43 shows we've done.
Wow.
That's pretty good. We've surpassed our Let's Talk Rock podcast, but I'll tell you what, we've got some gems in there, folks.
No, we got quite a few in the can still.
Yeah, but I'm saying they got to be brought to the forefront, and so that our listeners, we might even do a space. You and I should do a Let's Talk Rock space, you and I hosting it, and have everybody fire the questions to us, and we can air our interviews there, don't you think?
Might not be a bad idea. I see Jason's in the house. Welcome, Jason.
Welcome,
Jason. And as you might know, we're on a new time this week. For the next 2 weeks, we're going from 6 to 7 as opposed to 7 to 8. So apologies ahead of time to those people that show up at 7, looking to hear Colin and Marty, only to find that it's already been recorded. But you can watch the YouTube video.
That's right. And I also, you're right, Carl, because I got a lot of feedback from people that have said to me, I can't do that on the Tuesday night. I'm picking up the kids or taking them to a ball game or going out for a bite to eat and that. And they say, but you know what? The next day, it's like leftovers. They taste better the next day, so they savor it the next day. So I love it. They get
leftovers. You taste better the next day. It's true, though.
It is true. Now I'm going to start off in a different headspace. It's not a war theme. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I collect scale tanks, militaria. So
Tanks.
tanks a lot. So
Tanks a lot.
Tanks a lot, brother. Anyway,
Having fun with this new Revelator mic. It's got some echoes and some different settings and reverb on it.
and
So,
if the sponsor would like to bequeath Colin one to his old friend Marty, we'd love to have one on this side too. Hint, hint, hint.
hint, hint. A shout out to Personas. Thank you for the Revelator. And
I won't shout out till I get mine when I can use it and hear it, but God bless you.
all right.
Anyways, so speaking of tanks,
All right. Speaking of tanks,
I just thought I'd do a little comparison. And you know me, I go for the gusto. All of them being collectibles, all of them being from all over the world. So for starters, we start off with a little guy. He's just a little guy, but he's very collectible. Small tank, Lesney, England, goes with a card carrier. Nice value, in around 50 bucker. Nice, but clean.
wow. How old is that?
Oh, this is 63, 1963.
Is that what makes them rare? Is the year or the availability?
No, the fact is it's militaria, and there's a lot of guys into military. So Lesney, Dinky, Corgi, every company, French, Dinky, everybody, they got involved, and they just put out their own line of militaria, like armored vehicles, troop carriers, which we can get into. So anyhow, that's a scale. That's a scale. That's like a... Then the average next scale goes to this size here, which is like, this is a French Dinky with the turret and everything. But again, very, very...
that's metal, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pressed steel. Yeah. And,
steel.
And also rubber tires and plastic and all sorts of things.
Hold it up a little bit higher. Your name's in the way. So, that's nice.
That's
give it a bit of a spin around. Oh.
That's a nice toy.
No decals or country names on them.
This one's French.
French, okay.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, then I thought I'd bring the Super Mondo Goliath for last. This is possibly one of the rarest ones you'll ever find. I've been looking for this tank for upwards of 20 years.
Wow.
And
how did you know to look for it? Is it in a guide, or did you see it somewhere as a kid?
Some guy told me there's a monster scale if you can even find it, and then I tracked it down, and then I found out that they're very, very hard to find. In my research, I found out they're very hard to find. Anyways, a couple of weeks ago, I was up on a job, and I went into a thrift store, a secondhand store there, and I walked in, and I walked over to a showcase full of toys, and lo and behold, the toy I'm going to show you guys next was there. Just so happens I've been looking for this toy for 20 years.
20 years, and you walk into the store, and there it is.
And there it is. So you have to have it. As Gary Peterson would say. I had to have it, and this is the mother of mothers.
Wow.
You will never see a bigger tank in this scale. It's monster. It's heavy. And it's a monster. Look at the turret. Look at the turret on this gun here. Look at that.
Wow. How many wheels on that tank?
This tank has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rollers on metal that doesn't turn. It's a 16 roller with wheels in it. So it's maneuverable all the way around. So you don't lose the treads. They don't break off. The spindles don't break off. There's no moving parts except for the turret and the gun. So this was the find of finds. And luckily for me, the guy looked it up in his first. I said, "Where did you get it?" He says, "Well, I got it out of an estate that had been there for 14 years, this estate. And then they gave it up. He bought it. He said, I've never seen one. Put a serious price on it. But I said, did you do the research? And he said, yeah, I did. I looked it up. Well, he looked it up under the wrong category. There's always key words when you look up things in your search or whatever. you got to put in really key words. Well, he had forgotten a couple of the key words. And he said, well, yeah, I looked at it and it's around this. So I think it's priced fairly. It was highly underpriced. Anyways, the long story short, I went to the keyword definition one. I punched that in and I got the real value. So for sure, there was no way, you know me from the past, that I'm leaving that store without that tank.
You got it.
Got to have it. And then I negotiated and I got it for a fair price. And I'm showing it to you here, which really is ironic because
hopefully he's not watching.
Whether he's watching or not, God bless you. Thank you for this to my friends in Princeton in the thrift store. So there's a pitch for him. Anyways, the bottom line, an old friend of yours and mine, speaking of tanks and militaria, Robbie Backman, has a tank on his property. So that's a parody out of toys to artists with tanks. But the best one is that many, many years ago, when I wasn't only affiliated with music and I worked for CPI, which was Concerts Production International, and we did all the big shows, the Stones and the Cars and Alice Cooper, and I did Canada from one end to the other. I did the East for them. I did the West for Periscope as a production guy. So I was everybody. I wasn't a tour manager or an artist manager. I honed my skills in production in those years. So the bottom line being that we were touring and doing stuff, and it was really a great thing. And then when I went into the sporting division of it, the sports, we changed it from CPI to Canadian Professional Motorsports, and I became the VIP president, consultant, just like you, of your companies. I was in charge. So at that point, we started to do sporting events, tractor pulls. I was the first guy ever to bring Bigfoot to Canada, which the kids were screaming, and merchandise and toys.
Wow, that was big.
That was, yeah, you're right, good one. And I have a picture of Gary Peterson and his son Corey sitting in the wheel of one of these trucks, which is classic. I invited them out to the sporting show. Gary, our old friend from the Guess Who, the drummer.
Hey, Philip, welcome to the chat. Nice to see you. Some people are starting to find out that we're on an hour earlier tonight, but
that's right. But that's good. I'm glad you're jumping in.
Maybe you want to make a coffee table book. Rock stars with tanks.
Yeah, he'd be the only one in it. I could do a rock stars with pigs because I know a bunch of them. But pardon me, with pigs. So anyways, the end of the story, to wrap it up, I decided, well, I crush cars with monster trucks at the P&E and at the Dome and everything. I'm going to see if I can outdo myself. So I love militaria. So I asked around, I says, is there anybody that's got a tank? So they say, yeah, there's these two brothers in Nelson, BC that have a tank.
Wow.
So I contacted them. In those days, you didn't have the connections that we have.
Now, is it legal to privately own a tank?
Yeah, they privately owned it. They took out the ability to fire munition, but they left in, they imposed an ability to shoot things out of the turret, out of the gun, out of the barrel. So what I did was, first of all, I asked them to come. They sent a promo video. I loved it. Next thing, they came via the nighttime with a massive 53-foot trailer with the tank on it, covered with a tarp, all wrapped up. Nobody knew it was coming into town. It was like, it just came in through the night, and it ended up at BC Place when I got there the next day in the morning. We unwrapped
and this was for a truck and tractor pull.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But a part of it was crushing cars. Yeah. So I brought the tank in, and I said, you think you can crush these cars? He said, absolutely. So I said, well, let the monster trucks do them first, and then the finale is going to be you. And I hyped it up, and everybody that was anybody came to see it. Anyways, the long story short, let the monster trucks do their thing. And then I said, okay, do you think you can do this? And he says, for sure. I says, before that, I want to do a little bit of a promotion. We had some monster truck, we had these Canadian Professional Motorsports t-shirts and that. So I did a giveaway, a couple of tickets for, it was a 2-night thing, and plug in the tour. and he shot it. He could see through in the tank, through the scope and everything, a section of the BC Plays. So I had him direct it to section 1, row 10, and he'd focus in, and then he'd shoot it, and it would land like right there. He had
he was shooting T-shirts like
ping pong balls with pens attached, with some tickets attached inside, all that kind of stuff. So that
great idea. Was that your idea, Martino?
Absolutely, absolutely.
They still do that at football games now.
Yeah. No, I did it for motorsports. Then I got this guy to crush. Now, the hardest thing in the world to crush, unbeknownst, is a checker cab. Because checker cabs are so much higher than ordinary cars. When the trucks go up, they've got a big axle housing in that, and if they come up and come down that high, they'll smash that axle to smithereens, break the wheels off, whatever. So so they avoid that kind of stuff. So they can't crush them, which is perfect. But I said I can crush them with a tank. They said go ahead. So after they did their thing, I brought this tank out, and if you want to talk difference in crush, the tank, without a word of a lie, was that high.
You mean the checker cab?
Well, the checker cab was in the hill where they went over and crushed, but I dragged other cars out onto the ground where they did a turn and came over them like they were going down a road.
Wow. I wish we had a video of that.
I have it all.
Oh. We should play it.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to be talking about tanks tonight. It just came to mind. But I'm going to move on to the real things. We did mention Aerosmith, and then I'm going to segue from Aerosmith not being able to perform back to when they performed in Jackson, Mississippi on January 7th, 1978. Here is the $7 unused ticket.
Wow.
That's it. Never before.
Well, I remember Aerosmith coming over to my house.
Yep.
During their recording of, I don't remember if it was Pump or Permanent Vacations.
Right.
But at the time, they had hired, or the record label had hired, a security guard that was to monitor them to make sure that they weren't using any substances.
Of course, yeah.
And otherwise, it would forfeit their record deal.
Gotcha.
So I recall sitting on, we had a deck that looked out over Falls Creek, and during Expo 86, they were blowing off the fireworks. So it's always fun to come over and watch the fireworks.
Excellent.
So I had a number of different bands come over, and on this particular afternoon, it was Aerosmith.
Wow.
And Tom Hamilton, who was the bass player, people were, having beers and margaritas and stuff like that. And he said, Colin, I want you to come to the studio with me. And I said, okay. I had no idea why he wanted me to go there, but maybe he wanted to work on a tune or something. But what am I going to say? A guy from Aerosmith wants me to go hang out at the studio. So I says, okay. So I go down to the studio, and he brings out some home movies. And part of their recovery, I guess, whenever they get tempted to have some substance of some kind, they watch these movies of like, this is what I don't ever want to do again.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I can't divulge the contents of the films, but they were quite disturbing. And I can see why that would incentivize anyone to not go that route. So it's good to hear that Stephen is
absolutely
back on the wagon, and he's
you and I have worked with him. I've worked with him.
He's focusing on his health and well-being. So prayers and good vibes and love and light out to Steve Tyler.
I hear you. Now we're moving back even further. We're going to Blue Oyster Cult. I did a bunch of dates with them with another era bands, but this is 19.
We did. You were with us when we did some shows with
and also that. But I mean, I also did them with different configuration of different bands in a touring capacity as well. Anyways, this one is Blue Oyster, $6 ticket.
$6.
1975 unused. Then and now on our show, then I'll move into something that I thought was really cool. This even goes back further than that. This goes back to 1961. 61, folks. In Pittsburgh, PA, at the Syria Mosque. For $2.50, you could see the Kingston Trio.
Wow.
Unused.
Unused.
Mint. Mint, 1961.
Anybody remember the Kingston Trio?
Whether they remember them or not, Capitol Records remembered them.
What was their hit song? Did they do
Tom Dooley.
Kingston
Your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. That one. And then the MTA, He Will Ride Forever Neath the Streets of Boston. He's a Man Who Will Never Return. That was theirs. Anyways, I went and I did a little bit more research in my cavern of goodies, and I came up with another fun one. This is from 1997. Live Green Christmas, none other than David Bowie.
Wow. Live Green Christmas.
Yeah.
1997.
Yeah.
So I just Googled Kingston Trio. I remember, saw the song I was trying to think of. It's like, Where Have All the Flowers Gone?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. Good on you. Thanks for doing that. That's great. Then another great one that I don't think you'll ever see. I don't think you'll ever see it. I've never seen it. This is from Blah 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 Presents, 7:30 p.m. in England for pounds. For £8, you got to see none other than Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop. Wow.
Unused.
That's like right at the height of the beginning of the punk era.
Absolutely. So that's the visual. I love the visual tickets, and the graphic tickets and everything like that. So we'll go right into Ball and Jack, Kimberly, University of Nevada, a $4 ticket. No year. But anyhow, a $4 ticket for Santana.
Oh, that's a beautiful looking ticket.
And that was the first time they ever did that cover with the tiger and everything. So it was like, remember how they used to do those passes with the cloth and that? You're right. The font, everything like that is unbelievable. But what I do like, to be honest with you, is the European way, which you and I were in Germany and all over the place with Randy.
Hair loss, hair gone.
Hair loss, hair gray, hair loss, hair Schmidt. But here, I love this large size. I don't think there'd be too many of our listeners or viewers that could attest to having. This was the first ever, and Garnet will like this, the first ever in 1999 with this group 3D tour, and it's none other than Kiss.
Oh, look at that.
That's a giant monster ticket.
That is.
That's the size. It's like the size of a postcard.
Well, that's the way Gene Simmons likes it.
I know, but
first ever.
Yeah, first ever. Now, the biggest thing that I save, you know me, I always save the best for last. Now, these two that I came upon are 4 years apart. They're like the special shows you do, and they're done by big groups and by individual artists such as you, and they're called the New Year's Eve shows. So they put out special tickets for those, obviously. Well, myself, I'm a crazed fan for the Grateful Dead. So I was fortunate enough to get Oakland Coliseum Arena, Tuesday, December 31st, 1985, $25 admission. And I was fortunate enough to get another New Year's Eve Oakland Coliseum again in 1989 at 7 p.m. And the ticket only went up by $5. So there's two of the rarest unused tickets you'll ever see on New Year's Eve.
Wow, those must be worth a little bit of...
Well, they're worth solid money. And they're unused, and they're as brilliant in color These are in
Wow.
plastic, remember. Blow your mind. Super rare. But even rarer than that and harder to get. At the same time,
They
I
almost look
acquired.
like scratch and wins.
Yeah, pretty well. That's right. They do look like scratch and wins. But here, I managed to score myself. In 1981, I managed to score this. So I'm very, very fortunate. There's not too many people I know that have this. This is the 1981 backstage pass from the Grateful Dead.
Wow. Now, did you go back?
Unused.
Oh,
Unused.
not even a hole in the top.
No, nothing. Nothing. No. Just right from the promoter's box of passes on his
Yeah.
desk, right to me. And as you well know, that's the way to roll. So, yeah, keeping it small, having fun with the tanks, having fun with everybody, and just glad to be here
Well,
with
you're
you
a
and enjoying.
TV star, a music buff, a
Well,
film
we're expanding our life.
mogul. Yeah.
Not necessarily mogul, just just a guy who lucked out and had a successful career and joined forces with people such as yourself, long-time friends, people in the music business everywhere. And listen, we all make mistakes, and I've made some mistakes too. I should have taken a lot of different roads, but I'm following Ringo's motto: "Don't go where the road don't go." So I'm basically sticking with what works, the chemistry that works, and trying to reinvent.
If you don't know
myself.
where you're going, any road will take you there.
You hear that? I hear you. That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, Bachman had a record called Any Road.
Absolutely.
That's when I first joined the band.
That's very true. That's very, very true. I have some real live footage of Randy, Neil, Richard, and
That's right. I remember that.
and Tally, and Denise, with Denise's camera, my camera, at Neil's ranch, which he no longer deals with because he's out of there. But that's where the plywood studio used to be, and that's where the redwood studio used to be. And I never knew that Crazy Horse lived there. His manager lived there. His wife lived there with his kids. All the tour buses were there. Everything. We went down there and did finish off some grunge guitar playing by Neil on Randy's Any Road. So needless to say, that was my Neil Young story, and Randy and I and the band ended up there. And then you came later, and we did all our shtick on the road. It was really great. I actually thought it was a good album.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was a good record. And speaking of records, when I played this weekend, I got an anonymous text or letter sent to me, and I guess a woman, her husband had passed away.
Oh.
And he was a radio DJ. And for whatever reason, his favorite song was one of my original songs called Radio Man.
Really?
And he requested that to be played at his service, at his memorial.
Wow.
And so just to keep the family private or whatnot, I won't mention any names, but I'll just tell you that I'd like to just dedicate my song Radio Man to DJ, we'll just call him DJ Steve.
Sure.
And I was very touched when I read that. It's like you put these songs out and you never know who's listening or who they're going to touch. And to me, that was pretty special. So
I think so. I think you're right.
Maybe we'll play a little bit of the video. I actually played Radio Man for in Phoenix at NFT Connect,
when you were down
in the hotel lobby. I think some of the people that are even on this chat or some of the V's group were there. And it was kind of late at night after the full-on day at the conference.
There you are.
Oh, there's a picture.
There you are. Time, folks.
Can play a little bit of that if you want, and then we'll outro the song. Video was done by my good friend Bob Bunting, and
a little more audio. Pull that audio up. There we go. Oh, I love the car.
Radio Man,
Driving by the house.
Invisible voice that guides me through the wind and through the rain. Radio man playing my favorite song again.
And that Garnet's buddy Wes was doing the videography there with his drone, and
Really nice. Yeah, that's good.
Out in the future,
Back he is.
from the lifestyles we choose.
so Radio Man. We'll play the whole song on the outro, but that was a good moment. Anyway, I guess we're past the halfway mark of the show. Got a lot of announcements to make. So we'll bring Garnet on.
Where is that guy?
Where is that guy?
Hey, calling Garnet. Come in. Oh, there he is. The man.
Hey guys. Yeah, I remember. When you guys were shooting that video down at White Rock.
That's right.
Actually, it wasn't White Rock. It was Point Roberts.
Oh yeah.
And we went across the border, and it was interesting because one of his gadgets, I don't know which one it was, his Steadicam or something, wasn't working.
Oh,
so he had to improvise and put the camera in the back of a pickup, and it sort of drove in front of the car, and it was a lot of fun. But there was some drone footage in there too. Maybe you'll see it at the end. Cool. But that was when drones were kind of new. Yeah. And
how many years ago was that?
It's probably 3-4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. And your guys were able to go through the border, because Wes lived there, right? So that made it probably a bit easier.
Yeah. And it was a little hard to lip sync to my phone sitting beside me with the wind rushing by, driving that car. So the lips are a little bit out of sync.
Well, that shot looked like the camera was outside of the car, exactly. He was on the door sill or something.
No, he was driving in the truck right beside.
That's how he got it. I was wondering how you got that angle.
Steady.
Yeah. No, we had fun. We were experimenting, and we went up and down that road 100 times, trying to get some good shots. And
cool.
Anyway, that's my friend Larry's car. He puts it in all kinds of those classic car shows, and he's won a few awards. So I thought the reason that I wanted that red convertible is my Uncle Buzz, who I originally dedicated that song to. He was a DJ for CJ92 in Calgary, for CFox, for CKDA in Victoria, for all kinds of places. But he used to drive a red convertible. It was actually a red Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme ragtop. But in honor of Buzz, I wanted a red convertible ragtop. And so, it was a lot of fun. And like I said, I played that for the folks in Phoenix. So they'll recognize that for those that stayed up that late.
I hear you. What do you got to tell us, Gardner? What do you want to tell us?
Well, it's been a big week in NFT land. And as you know, everyone in the crypto scene the markets are down. But in the NFT world, things are buzzing kind of more than ever. And actually, last week, there was one of the biggest NFT conferences ever held yet. I think it was in Minnesota. I was going to, maybe I'll share this screen here for you guys to see. This is VCon. And, there's Snoop, who was also with us in Phoenix. But I mean, this was like massive 3-day event. I don't know how many thousands. I mean, several thousand people came out to this.
Wow.
Let me play this little. This was just last week. Let me play this. See if
friends. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I think we should get right into it.
Stadium.
amazing event and allowing all these people to galvanize. I love and respect the audience.
Danielle looked really good today.
That's right. Well, okay.
I manage Madonna. I've been working with her for 32 years.
You don't start out thinking I'm going to influence people. It's like you. I mean, that wasn't the goal.
Yeah. You put the way you see the world out there.
And executing on those dreams and having the discipline to do those dreams.
I wanted to this little section here with Eva Longoria. Longoria. How do you pronounce her name?
Close enough.
Longoria. Anyway, this was part of a special kind of, I don't know, I guess these clinics and panels that they have at these events, in particular about empowering women, and the idea that the NFT community, all these women's NFT groups are coming together and doing some really powerful stuff. So I'm going to follow up just after this video ends here with our own
those dreams and having the discipline to do those dreams.
I was actually voted the best speech of the entire VCon. Let's do it, VCon 2023.
Anyway, so those guys were having lots of fun, and let me just bring up this little.
Amazing what a turnout they got, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this just shows you that early days for what's happening in the NFT world, and of course, hey, I didn't want that to stay in there. So we have our, dang it, I don't know why this thing, I'm on slideshow, so it's gonna keep on doing this.
Do it manually,
anyway,
one at a time.
Yeah, I'll just leave it like this.
Yeah,
that'll work. Yeah,
there you go.
So we have our own, of course, NFT event coming up in Austin, June 6th to 8th, and it's going to be exciting. There's actually 2 conventions happening at the same time, and like you can tell the energy at this event, people coming together, getting the very latest. Cutting edge news, and for people really in the music community and the film community, they're going like, wow, how do we do this? What is this all about? How do we learn more about this technology and what it can do for our industry? These are the places where you go firsthand, hands-on, meet the people, super fun. But this event that we have coming up is a special VIP. It's somewhat invitation only on June the 3rd. This is invitation going out to different leaders of these women's NFT groups, and what the filmmakers, the team, their movie that they're promoting is still working 9 to 5. It's not distributed yet. It's still in sort of what we would call the film festival stage, where it's still touring around. It's not available for anyone to see. You cannot watch this movie anywhere. And actually, in the movie too is an unreleased song by Dolly Parton and Kelly Clarkson that you cannot hear anywhere.
It's beautiful
at these festivals. So we have this event, and this is going to be online on an application called Beam. For more details, come to the GOATS Discord channel. And if you're a part of a women's NFT group, we want you there, because the team, as you can see, and when you go to their website, you'll see this sign. It's more than a movie, it's a movement. And, Dolly, Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, their entire lives, have been dedicated to moving the ball, forward in this area. These guys are, obviously, we say, we call ourselves the GOATs after the greatest of all time. And each one of these ladies they are bona fide goats, right?
They're goats.
Yeah. So
That's your cue, Marty, for your goat.
Oh, right. Oh,
so the filmmaking team, basically at this, they're going to get access to the filmmaking team, and we want to talk about a special empowerment for these women's NFT groups. The filmmaking team have some ideas and they want to share them personally. If you know of anyone sort of in that space, reach out to us and we'll make sure we get you a ticket. And part of the tickets for this platform is a token. It's what we call token gated. And so if this particular token, it's free invitation. We'll drop the token in your wallet. If that's in your wallet, you're going to go to our website. That is where this movie is going to be shown. You can talk to each other, not audibly during the movie, but kind of like our own little chat here. You could be able to chat with the participants, the other people who are watching the film. That's going to be 7 p.m. CST. So that's 5 o'clock our time. That's going to be an exciting. We're going to be promoting that on Twitter Spaces. And of course, in Twitter Spaces, we have our Mofo. Here's our Mofo Goat Twitter channel here. Come on, are you Mofo? That's coming up right at 7 p.m. Come on, Mr. Goat. There we go. They're going to be in the space. I'll get you guys your invitations if you guys want to pop in there for a little bit. Every night we've got special guests. There's been a lot of musicians coming on, sharing their stories of what's going on, and of course, we got new goats being. People are buying these goats. This week there was a special friend of ours, Selvin. Where's Selvin? I don't know if you guys remember Selvin. He's like a dev, but he was pretty pumped because he minted. There's his goat. Right
wow.
There. That's the goat Selvin minted. So
I haven't seen the goat with the Academy Award yet.
Yeah, he got it. He's got the Kill Bill suit, the Academy Award, and
random goat, man.
Yeah, and it was good. Selvin is a guy who really represents the Web3 community.
Oh, really?
And kind of
cool?
as a developer, sort of understands the long-term picture of this technology, and he sees something great in our community. Already is bringing other friends of us out to the goat meetings every night. So it's all good. We're excited, and another pretty kind of exciting thing that we got coming up is I'll just sort of hint at it a bit. Jason's going to have more announcement. We're calling it a goat jamboree.
Ooh.
And it's going to be a goat mint jamboree. We've had it's
a jam session.
Yeah. It's like, what the heck is a jamboree? I mean, it's going to be a fun time. It's coming, we think it's going to kick off in the next 7 days here, definitely before Phoenix.
You mean Austin?
Austin, yeah.
Austin.
Yep.
All right.
Very cool.
Well, that's exciting. I know that there was a lot of women at NFT Connect in Phoenix that were very interested in being part of the 9 to 5 movement, and this opportunity to actually see the film. And it's surprising how many people haven't seen the original, but it's 42 years old, I think, somewhere around that. But as a father of 2 daughters, it's really important that the girls get a chance to see that show, and then the follow-up documentary eventually. And this is a really good opportunity for people that haven't. Well, I guess nobody's been able to see it really. We've had a sneak peek, but it's definitely worth taking the time to watch, and it's fun. You'll get to learn a lot. So exciting times.
Definitely.
Welcome to the chat, George. Good to see you there. And Megan, she says, good evening, goats.
Good evening,
Good
Megan.
evening. Yes. Yeah, you know, those guys did such a, that original comedy, Working 9 to 5. That, you know, in the documentary, they talk about, you know, it was always going to be a movie that had a message to it. Wow. And whoever had the brilliant decision, they said, you know what, this is such a, you know, a serious kind of, you know, conversation we're having. It has to be a comedy, because comedy sort of lowers your guard, right? When these kind of sensitive topics, which at the time it was, and, you know, they clothed it in a comedy, which people could just come and watch it, laugh. And meanwhile, there were some important messages being communicated in there. And I think, you know, us being in the entertainment space, it's something that quite often happens in music as well. Sometimes, you know, music or art is the best way to try to communicate a truth that when it's sort of just spoken out, typed out in plain black and white, it's sort of harder to receive in that sense. So that's, you know, I don't know how many major, you know, think of all, you know, Marty, you toured with CC Ryder, right? And
CCR, couldn't.
Yeah, and you know, there are songs that, you know, about the war, or protest songs, or
absolutely,
or, you know, that's what people really connected with, and in their entire experience, good or bad, you know, could be boiled down to this one song that they feel represents the truth of that moment in their life.
True.
Well, there's a lot of conversations to be had coming up. Marty, thanks for that sort of insight into the whole military tanks and collectibles. And, you know, we're talking about value about collecting things, but also collecting memories and collecting experiences. Every one of those tickets that you have, I know I've saved a lot of tickets from shows that I've played, shows that I've gone to, and even just holding that ticket brings back that memory. And whether it's the tour shirt that I got from a radio station, even though it's an ugly paint shirt now, I still look at it and it reminds me of that concert, where we were, and some of the events that took place around it. We had a lot of fun. So we've got bins and bins full of those types of t-shirts.
Rubbermaids are us.
But they need to be published in some kind of way. Yeah. To bring the public to it. And of course, Marty, you got your book coming out, so that's one way for people to experience the part of your life. And the other sort of areas we've kind of been experimenting with, and now Thursday nights is a night where normally our 7 to 9 p.m. Goats space, that Thursday night is taken by another group. So what we're doing is we're having these meetups in a VR space called Alt Space. So it's a chance for the goats to hang out in a VR space, virtual reality. You can go there on your desktop too. It's but that, you know, is one of the conversations we've been talking about for Marty, is having a gallery where some of those pictures that are going to be in your book can be experienced in a VR room, a VR space. And you know, the idea of, you know, a museum where these images and all those video clips that you have, you know, those rare videos that no one has seen.
Never.
Right? And
Rehearsals,
even some of the objects, being able to turn those into scanned and turned into 3D images.
Oh yeah, it'd be the most unbelievable thing ever. You're right.
Yeah, I had the privileges of actually, seeing those. What was he called again? The bass player from the Who, John
Entwistle.
John Entwistle's boots. So those are super rare, boots. For everyone watching.
They're more than rare. They're one of a kind.
Yeah.
Well, no, correction. They're two of a kind. He had two of everything, but one went back with him to LA in the wardrobe case, and the other ones came to me.
Oh, but only one pair were signed.
That's very true.
Yeah. So no one's gonna, Marty's not gonna, send those out to you so you can have a look at them. Those,
Virtual will let you look at them.
But yeah, virtually, we're gonna experiment a little and try to turn those into some 3D objects.
Oh,
it's going to be in Marty's Curious Collectibles world, and that'll be close. You're going to be able to hold those, see the writing. I
want to see Colin's poster, the People's Choice Elvis, because that's a very big thing in the world, and Colin has done some stuff. We talked earlier before the show for all you listeners and viewers that Colin may do a song for us in a movie and everything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of it. And Garnet's surprised. You know the movie with Jason, but we're not going to say anything just yet. So anyways, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'd like to see Colin's poster in there. Oh, there we go. See, there's the award.
I just so happened to have brought that over from my storage.
Beautiful. Yeah, there it is.
Ooh, Graceland.
Exhibit and contact Colin Weeb, fan favorite. Yeah. Now that poster sold like crazy at the Elvis Penticton festivals. We did have a nice run, limited edition, numbered, but that when it took off like a house on fire. We still have a few little higher numbers. But Colin will personally sign these things, and I've made arrangements. Colin doesn't even know this. I did a one-on-one interview with a publisher of a magazine called Sideburns, and she showcases all the Elvis ETAs and that. Colin's worked with many of them. Chris Connor.
ETA stands for Elvis Tribute Artist.
Correct.
For those people in the chat that don't know what an ETA is.
Right. So having said that, this woman wants to interview Colin on this poster and his discussion with Steve Bender, which I have, by the way, Colin. I went through my stuff, and I have the interview with Steve Bender and you on stage.
Now, Steve Bender, for those people that don't know, was the person who produced the NBC Elvis special.
That's right.
And if you remember, that's the one where he was wearing the black leather jumpsuit and
exactly the 68 comeback special.
The 68 comeback special. And I was fortunate enough to interview Steve Bender and hear some behind the scenes stories about him working with Elvis and how they decided on putting the show together. Really, really interesting.
Yeah,
we're running out of time here. I'd tell you a little bit more, but
next time, save it.
I think it's, I think some of these stories and like you said, Garnet, these experiences, this is one other way. We talked about, Marty's book and whatnot, but these shows too are a way of showcasing those stories and those experiences.
For sure.
And we're always open for people in the chat to throw in some questions and love to have a good discussion. So thanks, Garnet, for the update on the goats, the mofo goats. And why don't you set up the Twitter space and then we can show the video.
Sure. Okay.
So you're going to send us the links.
For those people who aren't, normally in Twitter spaces, maybe you just watch these videos every week. And, but I encourage you to grab, it just means downloading the Twitter app onto your phone, creating a profile, the Twitter Spaces, it's almost like I guess a podcast show, a radio show, but it allows you to join in and actually just talk back. If you have questions, you can come up, grab a mic. And what we've been doing in collaboration with the bees, we've actually been running a 24-hour show for the past, I think this is day 8 or 9. So 24 hours around the clock, there is a conversation happening about our communities, about NFTs. Every week, it's usually different musicians. Sometimes we have live music on there. It's a good time. So if you can't sleep in the middle of 4 a.m. in the morning, you can jump into our Twitter channel and someone's going to be talking. Usually at 4 a.m., it's usually people over, in Australia or Africa. We've got community guys over there, or so it might not always be in English because they're different countries and communities participating for those hours. But it's such a fun time. Some good laughs.
Are you able to put a link in the chat?
In the chat.
Or can you throw a link in the
let me see if I can do that right now.
Oh, see if you
Tell you what, while your song is playing out, I'll put that link in the chat,
Okay, so
and then I'll also send you guys an invite too.
we'll watch for a Twitter invite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Martino. Good job tonight, and
thank you.
And I look forward to next week. Next week, I think our guest next week is a comedian.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully we can keep him on the schedule. I look forward to laughing like crazy next week because this guy will keep you in stitches. So
solid.
We'll surprise you. Anyway, thanks from Startalk Live. Good night, everybody. And we'd like to send this out to DJ Steve. I should probably...
All right. Good
morning. The side door so quietly, nobody noticed you were ready to leave, and the show goes on like it always will, and that's a bitter pill. Radio man, what do you look like? Radio man, tell me your real name. Invisible voice that guides me through the wind and through the rain. Radio man, play my favorite song again. Radio man, spin my favorite song again. Some folks gotta leave early, so there must be an angel waiting for the radio man. Radio man, what do you look like? Radio man, tell me your real name. Invisible voice that guides me through the wind and through the rain. Radio man, play my favorite song again. Oh, radio man, spin my favorite song again. Radio man, spin my favorite song again.
Thank you.